Plante. I'm an attorney. Yeah, I'm from Sioux City, but I live just outside of Sioux City in Kenton, Iowa. I have a very small practice. I like to call it a boutique practice. I do mostly family law because that's what we're seeing. Okay, so for the legislators in the group, thank you for your time today. But we did a study in Woodbury County, and the study was done about 5 years ago, and we have found that over 90% of what comes into the courthouse is family. Divorces, modifications. So when I opened my small firm and started to take clients, obviously if 90% of what walks into the courthouse is family law, I became a family law lawyer almost by default, okay? And from that, I say I have a boutique practice because of the fact that I'm selective about who I take as a client, and I also limit how many clients I take. And I know that that's a little shocking for some people to hear. I feel when you do these family law cases, you have somebody's family in your hands. And this should not be the Walmart of legal services. This should be a boutique. This should be somebody who spends a lot of time making sure that the rest of your life and your child's life goes well, all right? One bad experience, or one bad, perhaps somebody's not prepared or the evidence isn't presented correctly, you've changed an entire family's life. And I take that very seriously, okay? So I'm a little different. I'm a lot different in a lot of ways the way I practice law, but that's one way that I'm different. I don't overload my caseload. I get to know my clients, and a lot of them become my friends, and there's a couple clients in this room, okay? So I become invested in the case. So that's why I'm passionate about this. That's why I decided to work with Nick. I don't even really know how. So much has happened, but I don't really even know how Nick and our paths crossed this through so many people in my life, and I felt that his organization was really doing something that was very needed as well. So today we're going to talk about shared parenting, and this is something that I have found over and over and over, both in divorces and in modifications as well, and in a lot of situations where the parents were not married, which that does happen. And more and more where I'm having clients call and say, I wasn't married to this individual, but we have these children together. And no matter what the situation, we have a child or we have children involved, okay? So shared parenting, what you probably have heard it as, who has custody, right? I always like to talk about what is the name on the street, you know. I love it when people call me and say, my dad heard at the coffee shop, my mom heard at the beauty shop. I call those beauty shop, coffee shop lawyers. Okay. And I try to explain, well, every case is special, okay, and what you're hearing is kind of the general knowledge on the street. So let me help you out. So shared parenting is what we want to call it. What you've probably heard it called is mom's got custody, dad's got visitation rights, right? Okay. We think it should be shared parenting because that's what it is. It's not, when you say somebody has custody and someone has visitation rights, what does that immediately say to somebody? Anybody?
One's good, the other one's not.
Or one is good and one is lower.
Yes.
Lower, yeah. And that's not how it should be. Okay. It should be shared parenting. Should be shared parenting. I'm sorry, go ahead.
One is possibly working a lot and not even in town. So it's not that the mom is bad or dad, whoever's primary, doesn't mean they're bad.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And the judges that I have worked with, okay, or in these cases I've appeared in front of, you know, they say, we talk a lot about co-parenting. In Woodbury County, we also have been a pilot county in the fact that some of our judges order everything to mandatory mediation. I think that's fantastic. As a practitioner, I find that we get further, faster, and with better results if we have a mediator involved. But that's not everywhere, and it's not everybody's case yet. Okay. So with this shared parenting, what would happen is we would truly have two parents that had some equal rights, not just somebody has equal legal rights, but the person usually who has the child is really running the show. You know, I mean, that's the bottom line. You know, I have parents call me all the time and say, she took the child to the doctor and I didn't know. Well, do you have a right to know that? Yes, but the child lives with whatever parent, and unfortunately that's the parenting control of the doctor, and they don't have anybody telling them they have to call you and make sure you can come that day. And so that's the frustration. So with this shared parenting, we would hope to make that more even. And along with the shared parenting is the rebuttable presumption. And what that means is that right now when we go to court, unfortunately, one parent has maybe been the caretaker more in the relationship. And so we see a lot of clients and immediately it's, oh, this parent who's been home more, this parent who's done what we think, day to day is more. Automatically, they have the leg up and the other parent is fighting a losing battle, okay? What we're proposing is this rebuttable presumption, which is not required. It's not required, it's just simply what one party or the judge could consider, and it would put both parents at the beginning of whatever situation's going on an even consideration level with the judge. Does that make sense? That we're able to present the parents as equals rather than this adversarial situation we have now where we have two lawyers, and I've seen it, I've been involved in it, okay? These two lawyers show up in court and it's this, we're going to show that this mom is terrible, or we're going to show that dad is terrible. And it turns into, mudslinging. On my way here, I was telling somebody how literally I had a case a couple months ago where we had the bus driver have to be, piped in to give testimony about the child's mental stability. And it was the bus driver. And you laugh, sir, but
I was a bus driver. That's
yeah. I mean, and that's all great, except
I tried that. I said it's easier to be in the legislature than driving bus.
Well, but here's the deal: should we really be wasting our judges' time and everybody's time and money interviewing the bus driver? What we were trying to do is tear people down. What we really need to do is what? Look at parents on the equal footing and see if there is in fact a way we can do this shared parenting. So that is really one of the things that is number one on our list here that we would really like in our platform is the legislators to consider the shared parenting presumption that if somebody walks in and says, I think I'm just as qualified to take care of these children, or I'm just as qualified, let's say 50-50 is really coming about now. Okay, we had a time where if mom had them, it was always mom. And now we've seen the pendulum and we're moving and more judges now are considering what? 50-50 parenting, where that means you're either a week on or a week off, or you're Sunday through Tuesday on Wednesday through whatever, and we switch off holidays. Those are things that are benefiting our children because when they have two parents, what? They have the support of both sides of the family, don't they? They do. So this rebuttable presumption would be extremely helpful in those kind of cases. And I think what you would do is not have these lengthy battles. Would anybody like to guess how long a custody fight can go on? Maybe from experience you're going to speak, but
It's been 19 years.
that's a long one. Anybody want
650 days after two were kidnapped.
My normal case is anywhere between 2 and 4 years. Anybody like to know how much that costs both sides?
$40,000.
Easily. I mean, I try very hard to be economical for my clients. I have, seen many bills submitted when somebody wants attorney's fees that run double my fees easily. This is unsustainable. I'm speaking right to the legislators now. This is unsustainable for an Iowa family. It simply is, ladies and gentlemen. Think of your typical Iowa family, especially a young one. Do you think they can afford that? Do you think that money should be put into a college fund perhaps? I do. I feel very bad for my client. I'll tell you another thing that makes me different. And there are people that can confirm it in this room. I let my clients make payments. There are people that I have gotten their children back, and they say to me, if you wouldn't have let me make payments, I couldn't have done this. Should justice be bought and sold in Iowa? I hope not. That's not what, I went to law school in 1993 and I finished in 96, and I was one of those, big-eyed, innocent girls that thought I was going to school to help people. And I guess I still try to do that. I think it's very sad when you have situations where people have to fight an uphill battle, especially just in a divorce. It's something that shouldn't be this bad. There's a crisis. Okay, I'm telling you, there's a crisis. And I'm also an individual who can speak from experience. I'm the one who found a certain judge in Northwest Iowa was not writing his own opinions. And I will tell you, I've taken a lot of heat for that. Personally, because I have something in front of the court system right now. It's a personal thing. If you Google me, you'll figure it out. Okay, and professionally, I have come forward and said, I think there's something wrong. I was the only person in Northwest Iowa who went to the Attorney General and said, help me. And the Attorney General looked into this judge, and I have now systematically turned over 4 of those cases. We have gone to court and asked another judge to turn that judge's bad opinion over, and it's been done. Do you think those people got a break? No, they've had to spend thousands of dollars, and I reduced my fees and let them make payments, and we're still fighting.
The problem is it wasn't the judge's decision, it was the attorneys that wrote
Well,
those, and
Well-
the judge signed them.
well, I can't comment on that. I'm just saying, I will tell you this, the attorneys were turned into the Ethics Board, and the Ethics Board of Iowa declared that they slapped the attorneys on the hand and said, you know, don't do it again, which it is what it is. But the problem is we have these issues, okay? And we have children's lives, you know, and you're in these hands, and we need something that the typical Iowa family can go in and say, if we want to do this rebuttable presumption, we want to do that. Okay, so it's not required. It would just be another tool in the arsenal of Iowa families and their attorneys to say, look, I think both parents are equally as qualified. Now, one side, you tell me why I shouldn't have equal parenting. Does that make sense? It's very simple, and it makes a lot of sense, right? And then maybe we get these cases through faster. We get people concentrated on the children, and here's what it is. It saves your taxpayer money, because if we move the system, if we move the cases through faster, if they're resolved in a more clean and efficient way, right? We're serving the public better, and we're saving money. And isn't that really what it's about? I mean, I know money helps run the legislature, so I'm trying to sell to the idea that it would also help our court system. The court system is, every year comes to the legislature, right, lately, and says, we need more funds, right? This is the way we could save funds, gentlemen. So many things are affected by a family, okay? I grew up, I was in a single parent household. My parents were divorced when I was 6 weeks old. I was raised by my mom and my grandma, but we always ate at a dinner table, and we always had that family. And what I think is lacking in the state of Iowa and across America, I think why we have people being shot at Walmart and all these horrible things, is that the family structure is crumbling, and you hear that. And I just want to follow up on 2 things you said. Number 1 was about the lawyer bills, and I can't tell you how many people I represent, and they say to me, why is the other side doing this? And I graduated in 1996, and I like to say that I am the last generation of the old type of lawyers, and I'm on the beginning of the new type of lawyers. Let me explain that to the legislators here. I grew up in a time, and I interned for gentlemen lawyers and lady lawyers, not as many ladies as gentlemen, who picked up a phone call and tried to settle a case. And we talked, and you met for coffee. Sometimes if somebody was a tough nut to crack, you took him out for a drink. I know Tom Patterson, who's used to the Iowa, taught me that. He was a fine, wonderful lawyer. Okay. We don't do that now, because we have this thing called electronic filing. And you know what electronic filing does, gentlemen? It makes it possible for you to slap together any motion. Jim, do you have a comment or a question? Okay.
I'll let you.
Okay. It gives you an opportunity to put together any kind of motion and fling it across the airwaves, just like these kids harassing each other on Facebook in high school. Like I said, I don't have kids, but I have friends with kids, right? And all of a sudden, lawyers don't call to each other, they don't call each other, and they don't talk to each other anymore. And you know when the first time you talk to opposing counsel is? The day of trial. That really should be. So if you've got somebody on the other, what you talked about, if we've got a dad like you, I represent a lot of dads, okay, I'll do anything. And then the other side's got unlimited funds. Grandma, grandpa own half of George County or whatever, right? That lawyer on the other side, I'm just telling you, the legislators, here's how it happened. They will do anything. I went to a successful mediation. The other side said, I want to write the stip. Are you sure? I said, yes. I waited 4.5 weeks for the stip to be written. I called the other lawyer. Do you want me to come to your office and help you? Do you want a draft? You know, we're getting close to spring break. My client, the dad, wants to see the child. She sends me, the other lawyer, a stick with the right names in the caption, and the bottom is all another divorce case. It says, if you want to send this to your client, have him sign it, fine. In the meantime, something happens with my client and circumstances change. So I send back a polite email that says, I'm sorry, this is not accurate. There's no way my client's signing it. There's people in here that obviously it's a mistake. And, you know, I think we're going to need to sit down and re-talk about this. In the meantime, she files a motion to enforce the agreement. We have to have a hearing on it. Do you know how much money this costs, gentlemen? And do you know how much money this costs? And delays the process, that other attorneys will get the money and they will spend it no matter what. I have seen every imaginable strange thing come across my desk. And you know who it is? It's who runs out of money first. So if we could have this tool in our arsenal, it would really help, because it's the devil's in the details, right? It's this thing. You know, I had another dad, couldn't make it here today, a former client of mine, and here's a great idea. He said, you know that 90-day waiting period you have to wait for a divorce? You know that 90 days? Make that the what? Trial shared parenting time.
Like Kentucky you adopted 2 years ago.
Yes. We're going to take this 90 days and we're going to do it week on, week off. We're going to see if it works. Then at the end of the 90 days, send in mediation. Is that hard? Talk to the lawyers. Talk to the dads and the moms. I'm not going to say I've represented a mom or two, but I have to tell you, in all my years of doing this, it's mostly dads that bring my phone number. Okay? Please, as legislators, if you want to make Iowa strong, if you really are in the legislature for the reasons you all say you are, would you help us do this? And would you talk to a lawyer who's got I don't have kids. Would you talk to somebody who has no stake in it, except that maybe the state would be a nicer place and to help these young guys?